the eagle-eyed amongst you will not have missed that Dr. Peter Jones, was earlier timetabled to give oral evidence next week, but there are now no plans to call him to testify. Well, I promised that this inquiry will be as transparent as the law permitted, and to make good on that principle, you're entitled to know why Dr. Jones will not be giving evidence orally. It's because, after considering both submissions on his behalf under Section 21(4) of the Inquiries Act 2005, supported by evidence, as well as the public interest in hearing orally what he may have to say, I have determined that it would not be reasonable in all the circumstances to require him to do so. This is a good point at which to explain why certain potential witnesses are not giving oral evidence. A consequence of the time it took before a statutory UK-wide inquiry was decided on is that many of the matters we are investigating date back many years. Some potential witnesses have developed health conditions that mean that they cannot now give evidence as once they would have done. Some witnesses have been able, with difficulty in some cases, to give a written statement, but not to give it orally. Some are able to give neither. In each case, I start from the basis that if it is desirable to have evidence from a witness, the inquiry should get it. I have powers to compel it, which I am quite prepared to use. It is necessary to have compelling material to persuade me either that they cannot do so, or that it would be unreasonable, taking everything into account, that they should. The inquiry statement of approach, entitled Information for Witnesses, is published on the website. It sets out the process so that anyone can read it. Paragraphs 18 to 20 in particular are applicable. Each case requires separate, often painstaking examination. Each is different because the particular situation of each witness is different. I have to make a judgment, too, about the public interest in hearing from that particular clinician. It is only after consideration, careful consideration, their individual circumstances, that I've come to the conclusion that some of the clinicians who were directors of haemophilia centres and attended UK HCDO meetings in the 1980s are not in a position to give evidence. What this means is that the inquiry will not be taking oral evidence from the following haemophilia clinicians whom it would otherwise have wished to call: Peter Jones of the Newcastle Haemophilia Centre, Charles Rizza of the Oxford Haemophilia Centre, Richard Wensley from Manchester, Frank Hill from the Children's and Queen Elizabeth Hospitals in Birmingham, Elizabeth Mayne from the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast, Morag Chisholm from the Southampton Centre, and Layinka Swinburne from the Leeds Centre. Some have been unable to give written statements. And I hope that helps those of you who may have been wondering about when we might hear from those witnesses.